860 AM.
The opinions and statements expressed in the following program do not necessarily reflect those of WWDB, its staff, or management.
Now the world don't move to the beat of just one drum. What might be right for you may not be right for some.
Good morning, everybody, and what you talking about, Philadelphia? The long weekly wait for infotainment is over. Wake the neighbors, phone your friends, hug your loved ones. It's another fact-filled, fun episode of Find It in Fishtown Live here on WWDB 860 AM, brought to you by the fabulous Fishtown District for the best in shopping, dining, strolling, anything really. You can find it in Fishtown. I'm Marc with the peaches to my herb, Kay Anderson. Good morning, Kay.
Good morning, Mark.
Kay, as always, if people want to find out more about what we do in the Fishtown District, where can they go?
They can go to fishtowndistrict.com.
And if they want to see our lovely punums, and we have more punums today.
We do.
Where can they go?
They can go to Fishtown District on our Facebook, or later on today, you can go to our YouTube channel, Fishtown District.
It's optionality. It's not just infotainment, it's optionality. By the way, I always get a kick, as our listeners know, to the music that precedes us. And today was reminiscent of when I was 12 years old and I became a man. It sounded like my bar mitzvah.
Yes.
Yes, with the last name Colazo, I was bar mitzvahed. And there was the music, like, you know, when you carry the person on the chair.
See, that's what I thought. I just didn't want to be in.
Well, first I thought I heard like a fiddle. I'm like, is this like sounds like a whole, like, I don't want to say a hootenanny. Is that, I don't know if that's still a word, but then it sounded a little more ethnic. So I was all into that. So we actually carried Kay around the Find It in Fishtown studios.
Absolutely.
What a week, what a day today. You know, last night, Kay, our governor did something I actually applaud him for.
And I wasn't expecting, to be honest.
That the world is opening up. I believe he said these exact words. COVID schmovid, COVID is over. Come Memorial Day, everything is open.
To be fair,
except you, Philadelphia. No soup for you.
That's a paraphrase. I just want to be clear. Governor Wolf, like,
I read that
we actually like you.
from
Please
my
give
phone.
us money. I'm just saying.
But so it's like, so everybody's like excited now and not sure what to do. And you're going to hear our fabulous guest today from the Urban Youth Racing School talking about like the Pocono Raceway is having full capacity, except Philadelphia. So the bet we're going to be taking here on Find It in Fishtown Live, Kay, is when will Philadelphia catch up? Because at this point now, I think they're literally grabbing strangers off the street to vaccinate them.
Yes, they are.
I heard a story. There is a, at the TLA, they were doing vaccinations there, and they had extra. They literally pulled an individual who was having a chicken cheesesteak from Ishkabibbles out to get his vaccine. Wouldn't even let him finish his sandwich first, which, by the way...
Oh, really?
Thank you, Matthew. Which, by the way, is delicious if you've ever had it.
I was gonna say, that's one of the ones that I recommend.
Very much, but you got to go the chicken cheesesteak.
Oh, absolutely. Don't get the beef.
But didn't even let them finish. Dragged them across the street just to get it. So if you want it, and we encourage everybody, find out as much information as you can.
Yes.
So that you can make your decision.
Yes.
But we're sort of kind of there now, and our guess will be. We talked about it before we started. When will Philly catch up? Mm-hmm. Do we have an answer to that question, Kay? What would, if you were going to go to the fabulous Rivers Casino in the Fishtown District and lay a bet down, what is your date?
My date is that everything will be open just before July 4th weekend.
And I said June 15th, and then immediately went to your argument as soon as you said July, simply because why wouldn't they make us wait another month?
Yeah, and my other thought is July 4th is the notorious weekend that nobody's in Philadelphia unless you're, at the big festival. That's clearly not going to happen. So in my mind, like, that's when it makes the most sense to try and drive some traffic away from the shore, keep some folks in Philly, open up the businesses.
So, but let's be honest. When the world opens up, not even before that, why would you go downtown? Why would you go to the shore when you can go to
The fabulous Fishtown district.
Holla? And with that, before we talk about opening up and taking that journey, it's time to take the fabulous journey to Kay's Corner. Oh, hold on, I'm just getting there. There we go.
And it's a long walk sometimes.
It is. Woo.
So we actually have a lot going on this week in Kay's Corner.
Oh, I can't wait to hear.
So before I get too far deep, and I'm going to steal Marc's thunder a little bit because he has his segment, but today I am wearing a special sweatshirt from Harriet's Bookshop. Yes.
Come on, Matt.
Woo! There we go. There we go. If you guys didn't know, Janine, who is the owner of Harriet's Bookshop, is still raising money to buy a building for her business to stay in Fishtown. So we are out here supporting that, and I wanted to wear her merch, just so you guys knew. And it's Strategic AF for those of you who can't see us on Facebook. You should probably just go to Facebook.
So it's the Strategic Air Force.
Absolutely.
I love that.
But I thought it was fitting for me because I'm kind of strategic sometimes.
Oh, you're very much. Thank God you are, because I'm seat of the pants, Mark. So it's perfect.
It's a great balance. But in addition to that, we also had Vince's Pizza open up last week.
Love it.
Mark, have you tried it yet?
I have not, because I went for lunch, not realizing that they don't open yet till 4 p.m. So, but it's Matt from the Fillmore did go, said very good. Crowds have been great.
Awesome.
Heard the Stromboli is awesome.
Well, I definitely just have to get there sometime this week then.
Yeah, and by the way, I want to commend them. It is a beautiful space right across the street from the Fillmore, right near Elwood Restaurant. They really did a great job, and we encourage everybody. You know, it seems like every day something's opening.
Absolutely.
So go get your stuff your face with pizza.
And speaking of new things in the Fishtown district and things opening back up, a lot of our restaurants right now are hiring. So if you are looking for employment, we have a lot of great restaurants in the Fishtown district. Some of those restaurants even pay a living wage and benefits. So please check out our restaurants, apply for a job. You might get lucky, you might even get it. And even Soraya was having a $2,000 signing bonus.
So I've already applied for my patented buttered toast recipe.
Right.
So I think fingers crossed, but I think I'm a lock.
I could see Mark being a really good hostess, though.
First off, I got the stems for it.
Notice I didn't say host. You have to be a hostess.
I'm very bubbly, yes, and very diva-like in many ways. But and by the way, Front Street Cafe is also taking applications.
They are, as is Steep and Grind.
Yes.
Steep and Grind.
So please check them out, and we always try to make sure on the Fabulous Fishtown District Facebook page to put any job listings, so please check us out there. But Kay, I know we're not done in the corner yet.
We are not. So today is also Cinco de Mayo. So I wanted to tell you guys
amigos,
a few places in the neighborhood that have my favorite margaritas. So first on my list is Loco Pez.
Love it.
If you have not been to Loco Pez, this is actually off corridor, so it's a little off the beaten path, hidden in the residential streets of Fishtown. But they have some of the best nachos and best margaritas in our neighborhood.
Love it.
Check them out. Number 2, Jose Pistolas. Oh, Sancho Pistolas.
Sancho's. Jose was the
is
other
inside.
one.
Yes. So Sancho Pistolas is the one that's in Fishtown.
It's his more handsome brother, Sancho.
Exactly. And they actually have a spicy mango margarita.
Oh, I love that.
Highly recommend.
Have you had the spicy? I think it's spicy chicken guacamole.
I have not.
So my dear friend, in fact, former Representative John Taylor, who called literally at 7:57 before we went on the air, that's his favorite.
Oh.
Yes. So
next time I'm there.
Which is why we have the figures that we do. But try it. You'll love it.
And finally, you can head down to Fabrica, who is having a special Cinco de Mayo celebration outside today, where they will have a DJ, some more margaritas, because what's Cinco de Mayo without margaritas, and some food as well.
And I think it's promoted by Don Julio is a sponsor. I think Red Bull is a sponsor. So this is a pretty big deal. They're there all day today till 8 o'clock. Go get your La Cucaracha on. By the way, I actually had 7 years of Spanish.
You know, me too.
And to the point where we had to do a skit in college in Spanish. So, of course, since I'm addicted to television, I reenacted a scene from Three's Company. And my whole line was, ay, ay, ay. You know, I got an A.
Oh, I'm shocked.
That's education. That's state education dollars at work, ladies and gentlemen.
But yeah, so come down to Fabrica. You might even see Marc or myself there at some point during the afternoon. So stop on by. And now I would like to present.
I like this new portion of Kay's Corner.
Kay's Track of the Week.
Awesome.
Ooh.
Now, is this in line with Cinco de Mayo also, Kay?
It is. Well, slightly. Yo, that intro music was amazing. I'm a big fan. Well, Matt gave me a little, birdie saying, "Hey, I got some intro music." I did not hear it until now.
That's all. I thought that was the song.
That was heavy.
That's awesome.
Yeah, me and Brett were spitting fire.
Yeah.
And we had to throw our lyrical genius on there,
Well,
I need you to email me that also so I can play it in the car on a regular. That's just going to be my intro music anytime I show up anywhere.
That's awesome.
But so today's track, this is a group of artists that I have been working with for probably about 5 years now, since they've moved to Philadelphia. So Serene and Coco Salinas, Serene is originally from Cuba and Coco is originally from Argentina, and they are a lovely couple. And they were originally stationed in Miami, came up to Philadelphia, and have been taking over the world music scene since. So they are rated one of the top 5 in Philly world music.
By the way, do you know who number 6 was, right?
It was clearly Marc.
It was me, but I don't want to overshadow them today.
But they've also played at the Kensington Kinetic Sculpture Derby. They also played the Front Street Farmers Market and the Fishtown Get Down. So Fishtown, I know you love them already. And here is their song, Como Decirte No.
Como decirte no cuando me miras de esa manera. Como decirte no cuando te arrimas y me esperas. Cuando acaricias las mañanas y te escondes en mi almohada. Cuando se agitan tus cabellos me susurras en el cuello. Como decirte no cuando me miras de esa manera. Como decirte no cuando te arrimas y me esperas. Cuando acaricias las mañanas y te escondes en mi almohada. Cuando se agitan tus cabellos me susurras en el cuello. No nos importa lo que digan, lo que hagan, lo que opinan. Hoy el mundo es diferente, lo que no importa es la gente. Pero a mí me importas tú. Oh, oh, me importas tú. Oh, oh, oh. ¿Cómo decirte no cuando me bailas y me desesperas? ¿Cómo decirte no cuando se mueven tus caderas? Cuando tu risa me hace falta, me suspiras en mi espalda. Cuando tus manos se confiesan, me desvistes y me besas. ¿Cómo decirte no cuando me miras de esa manera? ¿Cómo decirte no cuando te arrimas y me esperas? No nos importa lo que digan, lo que hagan, lo que opinan. Hoy el mundo es diferente, lo que no importa es la gente. Pero a mí me importas tú. Oh,
So that was Serene and Coco Salinas with Como Decirte No.
Which means,
When you tell me no.
love that. I've heard that. that's not an uncommon expression from it. By the way, if you noticed, if people who are watching the live stream, everybody's shoulders were sort of kind of going back and forth. They were awesome. Are
Absolutely.
awesome. We got to get them on the show.
Well, and little fun fact, I have a special soft spot for anything that I can like salsa my hips to. I'm from Allentown originally, so that's the only way that we learned how to dance was just the salsa hips. And if it's anything besides that or a two-step, I can't do it.
I would love to do that. See, we're from Northeast Philadelphia, so we know it's sort of pelvis overbite type of thing. It's,
Oh, Lord.
which is why I don't dance at all. You're welcome, America. Though I could shake my moneymaker if I needed to, but I don't think I'm ever going to have to do that.
You know what? I feel like there's a spot for that at a charity event somewhere. Like, we could probably fit that in.
I'll get it. You know what?
Auction off Mark shaking his moneymaker.
For the kids, I'll do it. Thank you, Doug. But before we break, okay, that was an awesome corner today. That was great.
you.
I love the songs now. You know what? We're becoming more eclectic. Have you noticed that?
Yes. You know, we're trying to bring in all facets of
Completely
our
because
personality.
of you. Yes.
No.
Mark talks about his bar mitzvah. Kay plays world music. It all works.
But I mean, Mark, you're quite eclectic. Like,
Today. So
Yes.
that leads us to America's second favorite segment. What's Mark wearing?
Oh, hi, Mark.
What are you wearing? What are you wearing? What are you wearing today? What are you wearing? What are you wearing? What are you wearing today?
I love it. By the way, so your like intro music kind of like kicks butt. Mine is a kid's song.
but I feel like that fits our personalities.
It does.
so-
It does. But today, I'm sort of fulfilling the wish of many screaming teenage girls from the 1960s, as I have John, Paul, George, and Ringo all over my body. And I mean that in every sense of the word. And it's really, really lovely. So it was a little hot today, so I wanted to wear like a T-shirt. But I wanted to make sure that you noticed me from space.
That's very important all the time,
So,
Mark.
because I think there's like a shuttle coming in or coming back, I don't know. So today, for those that are looking, is the Sgt. Pepper very loud 60s psychedelic cover T-shirt. By the way, only $10, and many of you were saying you overpaid. But I wanted to keep the whole fab thing going, so I covered different phases of the Beatles. So
Okay.
on the socks,
Oh.
it's Yellow Submarine.
Right.
And this is sort of my Beatles sneakers. This is more White Album-y.
Yes, I would agree with that.
So I've kind of gotten the late 60s Beatles. So I'm sort of, if you could just put it in one word, how do I say this? I really have a lot of time on my hands that I thought this through today. Like, I'm going to wear all Beatles today.
I feel like there's only kind of one section of the Beatles that you're really missing, which is like
The older one. I have socks from them.
Yeah. Yeah.
So don't worry, because Kay knows that I do my purchasing of clothes around 1 in the morning when I wake up to go pee. And so I have like 2 Hawaiian shirts with the Beatles on it. So one's like Help.
Okay.
Yeah. So
Oh, I'm excited about that one.
Yeah, that's a good one. I'm a big
Okay.
fan. So really it gives everyone a lot to look forward to. So you get this dynamic radio and more on Find It at Fishtown Live. And we're going to be back with our guests, Michele and Anthony Martin from the Urban Youth Racing School, who have been sitting here wondering, why did I say yes to this invitation? But we will be back in 2 and 2 on WWDB 860 AM.
It's been part of Philly for over 10 years, so Rivers Casino Philadelphia knows how you like to play. With better odds, more playtime, an upgraded rewards program, plus a state-of-the-art sports book, great restaurants, and more. Everything that real players want, without the overpriced distractions. Rivers Casino Philadelphia is for those who play to win, not play to pay for some fancy new place. Rivers Casino Philadelphia, always on our game. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
The police called after midnight when they caught our son at a drinking party. It was a real wake-up call. A policeman suggested we try Al-Anon family groups. I didn't want to go to a meeting, but I'm glad I did. Are you troubled by someone else's drinking? You might be surprised at what you could learn in an Al-Anon family group from people just like you. Call 1-888-4-AL-ANON or go to alanon.org.
Hi, I'm Ice-T. As a veteran, I know that for many former servicemen and women, the battle doesn't always end when they come home. Every day, 184 veterans are diagnosed with post-traumatic stress, and sadly, 20 take their own lives. When nothing else helps, professionally trained service dogs can. American Humane, serving the U.S. military for over 100 years, rescues animals in need of forever homes, and trains them to become free, life-saving service dogs for our nation's veterans. If you're a veteran or know a veteran struggling with post-traumatic stress or traumatic brain injury, please go to AmericanHumane.org to learn about their Pups for Patriots program. Let's give our veterans a fighting chance.
Welcome back, everybody, to Find It at Fishtown Live here on the fabulous WWDB 860 AM. Of course, Find It in Fishtown Live, brought to you by the fabulous Fishtown District for the best in anything and everything.
This is true.
You can find it in Fishtown, and where can they find it, Kay?
FishtownDistrict.com.
It's so easy.
It is.
Whew, I don't know how we made it so easy. By the way, before we go any further, I think everyone has noticed that we always like to really listen to our commercials. And by the way, you're watching the live stream on Facebook on Fishtown District from the fabulous Fabrica Cam. Got to give our sponsors their shout-outs. But today, I think we have a new high, Kay, because Ice-T did one of the commercials today for like dogs, like
service dogs.
Service dog. That's a good thing.
Yeah.
He called up and said he'd like to do a spot for Find It in Fishtown.
Yeah. Oh, tell him thank you.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
Next time.
He and I are very street together.
Oh,
Yeah.
wow.
Back from the day, yeah.
Oh, wow.
You missed those days with me. I really rocked the hood. That sounded even more white as soon as I said it.
I don't know how you managed.
Well, but I was pretty impressed because it's normally something depressing.
No, but
after the Rivers?
How'd you guys really get Ice-T though? Can we get him on K's Track of the Week's intro song? I'm just saying.
No, I really didn't get Ice-T. It's just a regular PSA.
Oh. Well, thanks.
I'll cut that out.
Why don't you
though,
just
so
tell us that
everybody
Santa is not real?
Yeah, right?
What?
Just ruin all our dreams.
Wah.
No, you guys can't get Ice-T. You're not that cool.
But now it's time to infotain, Kay, and
It is.
I am thrilled to have our next guest with us today, Michele and Anthony Martin, who are founders of the Urban Youth Racing School here in Philadelphia. It is the only, to my knowledge, school of its kind that brings motorsports racing to our urban communities, but in a way that's not just teaching them the fun of the driving and the cars, but it's a STEM education program where you're giving these kids that may not have possibilities these really unique, wonderful job skills, and then opportunities to get into the racing industry, whether you're in the pit or anything like that. And I always tell the story for anybody who, if you ever get a chance, besides you got to go visit the school, and I can't wait to have these guys talk about it, go up to a race one day, because as much as you think those cars are fast, you can literally hear them 6 miles away up in Pocono. I happened to drive one once.
And live to tell the tale.
Well, I'll tell the quick story, then I got to, because people are tired of hearing from me. So that was like a birthday gift from my ex, first one. It's called the NASCAR experience.
First birthday gift or first ex?
No, I only have one. I probably will have 3 by the time it's over, but I only have one now. And you can pay and you drive in a car. So I'm thinking, there's no way they're letting like a schmuck like me behind the wheel of
Especially
a NASCAR.
not you, Mark.
So you get there and you sign the waiver. And Anthony, of course, knows this, having been up there a million times. And the first thing they do is they take you in a classroom, and they're teaching you about the track and the car. And at one point, the instructor goes, now here, we need to teach you what to do if you crash. So immediately my hand shoots up, and I said, I got to be honest with you. This was a birthday present. No one mentioned nothing about crashing. And you have to go out through the front window. It was like a whole thing. So I'm like, oh, great. My birthday gift is and I didn't have a will yet, is my sort of my death warrant.
She might have been thinking there.
Oh, well, it was a little ahead of the time. And then these cars, I mean, you're driving in a car going almost 200 miles an hour. They could have just let me wear the race suit and I would have been thrilled. But I digress. So anyway, I want to bring these folks on because this is a program that I think not just all Philadelphians need to hear about, but really the country. And as we always talk about, it's the people that make not just our corridor, but our city and their stories. So I'm going to go right to Anthony, who, of course, is rocking his Sixers garb today. Good morning, Anthony.
Good morning.
So, Anthony, it's been, 28 years? Am I right?
23.
23 years. So tell us a little bit before we talk to your lovely missus, who was the straw that stirs the drink over there. Let's be honest. You're the founder of the school, right?
Yes, sir.
So tell me a little bit about your background and what led you to do this.
Okay, so I grew up in Southwest Philadelphia, and I grew up in the 70s, and I was always a racing fan. I actually
have to be rare in Southwest Philly.
Well, listen, I mean, in my hood, it was rare. No question about that. But I was always a racing fan. I always thought racing was very sexy, be honest with you. And obviously during that time, baseball was a big thing back then. And,
sure.
And, football, things of that basketball, things of that nature. So, anyway, I thought racing was sexy, and I thought to myself, I want to be a race car driver one day. But it wasn't a conversation I can actually have with any of my buddies, because they would never know what I would actually be talking about, to be honest with you.
Sure.
So from there, I always follow racing. I liked it. So years later, I worked in the sports marketing business and did some work for guys like Charles Barkley. And I was a gentleman who actually designed the gold-tip shoelaces that were worn by Randall Cunningham. That's how I was actually became very.
That's my favorite story because I remember them. Genius.
Became very famous for actually doing that. But anyway, make a long story short, later on, when I was able to start a business, I decided that I wanted to do something in the racing industry because it's something that I've always loved. But like I said, I was closet. No one really knew that. So in 1998, I was able to convince Michael Andretti to come into West Philadelphia, bring his race car with him. We brought out about 300 students. When they saw that race car, now just imagine Indy car, $1 million Indy car in the heart of West Philadelphia, okay? Inside of a parking lot in a schoolyard, okay? So kids actually came outside and saw this car out in the schoolyard, absolutely blown away. So we had the students come out over to the schoolyard, and Michael Andretti was actually there. And I think it was really, really cool is after the kids saw the car, then Michael Andretti actually spoke. And he spoke about the jobs that are around racing, not just being a driver, but being a tire changer, making $150,000, $200,000, being a mechanic, being an engineer, being a chassis guy, the whole nine. So all these different jobs. And it was like, wow. And I looked at the faces of the students, and it was like, wow, this is really, really cool. This is something that I feel like I could potentially do. So from there is when I actually started the racing school officially. And I actually met the folks from NASCAR a year later in 1999. And it was a gentleman by the name of Ed Renzi who had a team in ARCA. So Ed Renzi was the president and CEO of the McDonald's Corporation worldwide. So he was just retiring. He had a team in ARCA and was going straight into NASCAR. So I actually told him my idea, and he loved the idea, loved the concept. He decided to actually get behind this and help finance this. But the thing he really did more than anything for me and for the organization was make the introductions to the folks in the racing world. So the France family and NASCAR and folks like that. So from there, I talked to NASCAR, all these different folks about my ideas, and I met the folks from Chevrolet. And by the way, Chevrolet's been sponsoring us now for 21 years, which is kind of unheard of.
That's amazing.
That's beyond amazing, to be honest with you. And from there is when I started the program, and students have gone through our program. We have had over 7,500 students go through our program since that time. And we have students who are working in the industry, students that are engineers, students that are marketing folks, this all over the place, to be honest with you. But I'll be lying if I didn't say that one of my goals is for one of my students one day to be a driver, okay? I'm telling you, that's something that I would like to see happen one day. And I think that where we are today with our program, I think you'll see that actually happen within the next couple of years. But let me tell you real quick about the program.
Please.
So real fast, it's a 10-week long program. When the students first come in, it's 5 weeks. Well, one of the programs, exactly.
Thank you, Michele.
She's always correcting me. Okay, but I didn't make a lesson. But anyway, so our first program when you first come is called our Build a Dream program, which is our first program. So you come in, it's 5 weeks of classroom training. So kids are learning the history of motorsports. This year we're actually adding aerodynamics. We're excited about with that. They're learning about engines. Okay, and then also when the students actually come in, they take tests, they write essays. So everything that they actually learn, the following weekend they're actually tested on for sure. And they get points for everything. They get points for showing up for class, points for all that. But then the most amount of points they receive are their actual school grades. So if they have an A in a subject, they get 50 points. If they have a B, they get 40 points. If they have a C, they get 30 points, okay? Then what happens is after the first 5 weeks of classroom training, we then go to the racetrack. And that's the carrot that we dangle for the students. So, when the students first come in, they're excited about, I want to be able to drive go-karts. But, okay, but for you to be able to drive go-karts, here's what you have to do for 5 weeks. So they come in and they go to the go-kart track. We bring professional race instructors in, and they train them for 5 Saturdays. And the kids, the fifth and final Saturday of them being at the track, they get a chance to race against each other and their peers. And they have fun, and they actually go out and they compete very, very strongly against each other. They get points for all those things. We combine all the points together, and we come up with what we call our Chevrolet Points Championship. And that's become very, very prestigious. So the kids now are like really, really excited, and it also gives them and motivates them to do better in school, because you're not going to win the Chevy Points Championship just by your grades at the racing school. Your grades in school are probably going to determine if you're able to win the Chevrolet Points Championship.
That's important. I mean, they have to be diligent in their regular studies as well.
That's very diligent, absolutely. If they're trying to win a Chevy Points Championship, they do. No question about it.
And by the way, Anthony made a point about racing being sexy, Kay. Unless you've seen me do it, and it completely changes his opinion right then and there. And by the way, if you want to talk to Anthony or Michele about urban youth racing, call the Find It in Fishtown Live hotline at 888-329-3306. That's 888-329-3306.
I had a quick question. So what are the age groups for these programs?
8 to 18.
Wow, as young as 8.
Yes.
I got some folks I'm going to be sending your way.
Well, and tell us about how you pick the kids. How do they sign up? Is there a fee?
Michele, you want to talk about that?
Yeah, we can.
The lovely and talented Michele Martin, ladies and gentlemen.
Well, thank you, Marc. Thank you. So it's really on a first come, first served basis, because when we look at the racing school programs, in particular the Build a Dream program, we understand that a lot of the students are not coming with a dream. They really don't know what they want to do. This is their first exposure to this particular industry, the motorsports and the automotive industry. So we decided that it's best for them to be able to just come in and experience it. That's why we want to first come, first serve. We don't care what your GPA is in school. We've had students with a GPA as low as a 0.8.
Wow.
A 0.8, and guess what? The next semester he was a 2.4.
That's impressive.
And so what you want is just to motivate them. So, to cut people off or out, leave them out because of certain things, we thought wasn't fair. We thought that the kids should come in, experience it, and then they will know from there what they want to do. Now, if you want to stay in, that's when, if you want to go into the other programs like the engine program, our drone program, that's where your grades have to be at a certain level. But the Build a Dream program, everybody can come in.
And that's the most amazing. And listen, I'm very fortunate to be be on the board of this fabulous school and to see all the people. And I had the privilege to be at their first awards ceremony, and Michele let me give the award to the parent, because the parents make that commitment to take these kids back and forth.
Right.
But what you saw with these kids, and Michele, you kind of touched on it, is how these kids are excited. And it's not just because they're driving, because as Anthony, you said, you don't get that opportunity until you earn it. And they really throw themselves into wanting to absorb that. Did you foresee that when you first started this that the kids would, Anthony, take to it that quickly?
No, actually, I didn't foresee that, to be honest with you. My thing is, again, but one thing I did know, I know that even in the inner cities, like I said, kids love speed, they love cars. And I figured, with go-karts, it's something that they get excited about. So for me, I'm like, you know what? Let me see. So I was trying to be like a professor. Let me let's try to figure out a way that we can get these kids excited about education. It's funny, STEM is the buzzword today. Everybody talks about STEM. We've been doing STEM for 23 years now, to be honest with you. So that's why Michele and I, we laugh about it all the time. But, a lot of times, a lot of these students, they feel like, for example, they can't, when it comes to science and technology, they want to run for the hills because they feel like they can't actually do that. But when they come to the racing school and they get a chance to just get a little taste of it and experience it a little bit, it's like, wow, I can actually do this. And that's exciting. So the racing, obviously on the other side is a carrot that we dangle. So we basically say to them, listen, you know what? Try to get your grades up. And you're going to need to do that in order to be able to actually get to that go-kart track, for sure. And we found that 99.9% of those students that actually do that end up going to the racetrack, going to the go-kart track, doing it. They become motivated. It's like, hey, this is something that they really, really want to do. So to answer your question, no, I did not know that in the beginning. But now, since I've been doing it for 23 years now, obviously we know it actually works. And it's very exciting, very exciting for the students to actually do that.
Absolutely. I think one of the things that kind of sets your STEM curriculum apart is that it is so applied, and it's very clear where those connections and where those areas of opportunity for future growth and even careers are for the kids. Can you talk about that a little bit and how kids, how your program kind of builds towards careers?
Michele, you want to speak on that?
Yes. So basically, one thing that the racing school does that's really different from regular schools is that we partner with the experts, right? And that's so important because we're not experts at a lot of this stuff, right? And we're just not. Just like regular schools, they're experts at nothing, right? Most of the teachers are not even experts in the subject that they teach, right? We thought that it was important to bring in the experts to really teach them what it takes to go down this career path. So one of the things that we do with the students is we introduce them to, whichever program they're in, whether it's the engine, the Build a Dream, which has a lot of driving in it, the drone program. So for example, for the engines program, we partnered with the Navy because the Navy is the best at engines. They have nuclear engines, they have gas turbine engines. So who better to learn from than from those engineers? So what we do is we partner with them and we create a curriculum together. And in that curriculum is the pathway to how to get in this industry. So it depends where they come in. If they come in middle school, okay, then what high school do you pick? Then what college do you pick? What does that path look like? If you come in high school, you're a little bit late in the game, to be honest, but not really, right? So now you're picking what college. Now you have to look at an internship because you need some type of experience, right? And when you start younger, it's just so much more helpful. It builds up your resume a lot better. And it makes you great, right? When we look at all the greats, we look at MJ, we look at, I don't know, there's a lot of them, but they started when they were really young and they were really super focused. By the time they got to high school and college, they understood what they were doing. And in some senses, a lot of people are superstars at that age. And it doesn't matter if you're an athlete, right? You can be a superstar academic, a superstar in your niche, right? Whatever that may be. So that's what we created. Just a pathway, but with the experts.
Now, Kay, also, too, I wanted to mention, too, so relevance is important, too, when it comes to education, right?
Absolutely.
Because students say the first thing is like, when would I ever use physics in my life? Let me give you an example. So one of the things that's important at the racetrack is your apex. Learning your apex, right? Apex is the center part of return. Well, in geometry class, they learn about apexes. So now they can kind of equate. Well, wait a minute. You know what? I'm learning about apexes. Here is why it's important, especially if it's a career path that you're looking to take. So some of these terms actually make sense to them in school at the racetrack. So now, obviously, they become better at it because now, you know what? Hey, if I learn my apex, if I learn this particular term here, I'm going to be a better driver on a racetrack or a better student at the actual racing school. So that's very, very important, and we kind of think about those things when we're actually building our curriculums.
Absolutely. And I like what you said about bringing in the experts too, because I think that there's also a little bit of sex appeal in that for the kids, because we all know as kids, you know, seeing celebrities and seeing people who are famous and being able to do big and awesome things, that's really exciting. And then being able to meet those people and build those connections with them, not only are you building up their education, but you're also building their networks.
Absolutely.
For their future endeavors and future careers.
right.
So I really
Absolutely.
wanted to commend you guys for bringing in those connections and, you know, allowing our youth to really meet those folks and build those connections. So thank you.
Your network is your net worth.
Absolutely.
Right? And if the kids could see with their own eyes how these folks are living, because see, that's a big thing in the inner city. You're kind of like balling. You're, you know, I don't know what the new terms are, right? That the kids are using.
Don't ask me.
Don't ask Marc. Okay, I don't know if you're swaggy. I don't know what you want to do, or you know,
Drippy?
but they definitely look at people. Right, drippy. There you go.
Yep. I'm young.
Oh, there it is. There
Kay,
it is.
Kay, please
Thanks,
explain
Kay.
that at the next break.
I'll fill you in.
So,
Sounds very wet. Is that what it means?
No.
Well, you'll tell me.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. Go ahead, Michele.
so you know, a lot of the students are looking for real life ways to make money. And when they don't understand that other people outside of rappers and athletes also make money,
Yes, they do. Sometimes
then
more.
Sometimes more. Exactly. And a
Definitely
lot
a
of
lot more
times they
stable.
keep it, right? And a lot of times they keep that money.
Right.
Right. So, but to let the students understand that there's so many ways out here to make money. The streets don't have to be the way that you decide that that's the quickest way to make money, right? And another thing that I think the students have to understand is there's a term for it when, you know, you have to kind of wait. What's the term for it? When
Dripping?
No, it's not term.
Is that the term?
When you wait a little longer.
Procrastinate?
No.
Delay.
Delayed gratification. Thank
There
you
you
for
go.
that word.
I don't know how I got you there, but I'm glad I did.
Thank you. So delayed gratification is huge because, you know, a lot of not just students, just human beings in general, you know, the longer you wait for something, the harder that you work at it, the more that you're going to have. The more that you're going to be able to keep it, right? You kind of practice patience, how to work with your money, understanding a lot of different things, which our community, unfortunately, just, you know, they just don't understand it. So it's important for us to let them understand, like, listen, these engineers are making $500,000 a year. They are living good. They're
I gotta
eating
enroll.
good. They're driving Bentleys. Like, you know, they're doing different things. So I think it's cool to let them see that there are superstars outside of what they think is a superstar norm.
And they don't run 4.240s and slam dunk basketballs and great rhymers.
Those days are over for me as well. We're going to pay some bills. We're going to take a break, but we're going to be right back in Chew and Chew with Funded at Fishtown Live on WWDB 860 AM.
It's been part of Philly for over 10 years, so Rivers Casino Philadelphia knows how you like to play. With better odds, more playtime, an upgraded rewards program, plus a state-of-the-art sports book, great restaurants, and more. Everything that real players want, without the overpriced distractions. Rivers Casino Philadelphia is for those who play to win, not play to pay for some fancy new place. Rivers Casino Philadelphia, always on our game. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
Mom and Dad used to argue about everything, especially about Dad's drinking. My family went from totally crazy to quiet, calm, and even peaceful when Mom started going to Al-Anon family groups. I wanted a better relationship with Dad, so I asked Mom if she would take me to her Al-Anon meetings or to Alateen. I'm sure glad I did. Is someone's drinking troubling you? You might be surprised at what you can learn in an Al-Anon or Alateen family group from people just like you. Call 1-888-4-ALANON or go to alanon.org.
We're here early before they wake up. We stay late, we stay informed, we invest in the latest technology.
We take the time to train the next generation of doctors and nurses. We work together to make sure we heal their bodies and their minds.
We do this not because it's our job, but because this is about our veterans' lives. This is our mission. More than 300,000 of us working as one, together with families and loved ones. No matter where they live in this country, we'll be there.
We all come together and stand together to serve our veterans. We stand strong, united. Stand with us in caring for our veterans.
Welcome back, everybody. We're on the home stretch of Find It in Fishtown Live here on WWDB 860 AM with Marc Colazzo and Kay Anderson. And we're being joined today by the Donnie and Marie of racing. We're talking about Anthony and Michele Martin, the founders of the Urban Youth Racing School. By the way, 1080 North Delaware Avenue. I believe it's www.UYRS.com. Please check it out. And we have a caller here on the Find It in Fishtown hotline. I sent it for Michele and Anthony. Let's put it through. Hello there.
Hello?
Hi, you're on the air.
Hi, good morning.
Good morning. I'm betting.
So, my name is, I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, I bet you're calling to talk to Anthony and Michele.
I surely am.
Well, go get them.
Well, hello, Anthony and Michele. It's Stella.
Hi, Stella.
Hey.
This was not
listen,
planned.
I just wanted to this was not planned, but I do want to give a shout out and let your listeners know that we are alumni of the UYRS.
That's right.
And I just wanted to give a special thank you to you guys for offering opportunity, diversity, and just a wealth of information of something that is just not giving in an everyday setting. So you guys are totally outside the box thinkers, and I just want to thank you and let you guys know we love you for it.
Oh,
Stella, that's awesome. Stella,
love you more, Stella.
Were you in the program yourself, or are you a parent?
Oh, listen, when I was a parent, and I signed up every child that I knew. I must have called Michele 200 times to sign up maybe 200 children.
I swear, we had one entire session that came from Stella. And I remember talking with Anthony. I said, there's this parent who has literally signed up her entire block and everyone she knows. And I told Anthony, but we have this long waiting list and she has all these children. And Anthony was like, well, let's just keep that group together. So the kids, the waiting list just got even longer, but let's keep them together as a group. And then what I did was I made that group my cohort group. That was 20 years ago. Wow. And I've watched them grow.
Yep, that's right.
Yeah. And I know where everyone is.
And I bet that block is
better. Her babies.
Yep.
Yeah, they're my babies. And
that's
I always say, and Stella can attest to this, and I was talking to actually Jim Campbell from Chevrolet and letting him know, I have 7,500 babies.
Mm-hmm.
You look great.
Right. And all these children have gone through the racing school. All these kids have gone through the racing school. And so, Stella's kids, her nieces, everybody who's on the block, her nephews, we had everyone go through the program, and it was just awesome. But I know where they all are now. I know what everyone is doing.
And that was my question, Stella. You got to see firsthand. Tell me about the impact you saw that all these kids that you brought. How did you see it impacted these kids?
Oh my goodness! So it's just it just made the foundation stronger for them. Their vision in life is so much different. They just have a different eye of seeing things because of the experiences. I'm so into education and experience. It just the character it builds that each one of them have in their own way. It's just so positive and so beautiful to see them manifested the way that they did. Whereas some of the other children who don't get the opportunity, you definitely see the difference. I mean, so if we could clone this whole school and just make it official all over,
We're working on that.
Great.
Sounds like we need some Stella clones too
Yeah,
to get all these programs
gotta,
out.
we got to make you our main recruiter. Stella,
'cause
Stella, thanks for calling in. We appreciate it.
Love you, Stella.
Thank you so much.
We
love you guys
Stella.
too.
All right.
Love you too.
Okay.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Well, Stella gave us a good lead in there because one of the things I know that you are working on, because right now the office and the class is at 1080 North Delaware Avenue.
Fishtown?
That's right. Hollow, right across from the Rivers Casino.
That's right.
But you go to New Jersey to
Right.
drive.
That's right.
I know the goal has been to have a complex.
Absolutely.
Tell us a little bit about that and how people might be able to help.
You want to go?
So what we want to do is create a campus, our own racing school campus, which will include go-kart tracks. So it would be the first go-kart track in Philadelphia history ever, right? It'll be the first go-kart track. It'll
in
be
the city.
first in the city.
In the city.
In the
Yes.
city.
Which
yeah.
would already be huge and super popular, I just want to say.
That's right. That's
Exactly.
right.
Without the school.
That's right.
Right.
That's right.
Right.
That's right.
But we thought we want to bring it into the community. We want it to be kind of like the fabric of the community.
I love that.
And then we kind of want to extend off of, racing is who we are, right? But technology is such a huge thing on this planet for our people to understand as we evolve. So creating different pathways. We're huge on creating different pathways when it comes to STEM. And that's pretty much where we live. So once we get in the building, of course, we'll continue our engine, we'll continue our drone, but we'll expand to aquaponics and different things that are essential for us to be here and live on this planet. Because I feel like we're at this place today where we're thinking about food, we're thinking about water, we're thinking about technology, we're thinking about how can we rebuild the infrastructure. And when I think about Urban Youth Racing School kids and the exposure that they've had to all these engineers from Boeing to the Navy, right? These are the top minds, on the planet. That's why we think it's important to get into our own building to be able to bring these programs, in full capacity at full scale. What we do right now is really at the lowest scale because we just don't have the space. Once we get this building, there is no ceiling to break because we're going to be so beyond it.
Absolutely. And how can people support you in that endeavor?
So we are going to start a campaign, and hopefully we'll be back when we do, and we'll start a fundraising campaign.
Okay.
To let everyone know where they can, support. But right now, if you guys want to, you can go straight to UYRS.com and make donations there.
The other thing, too, Kay, is just imagine the job creation that is going to be, too.
Exactly.
Yep. And one of the things, talk, in our last minute or two, talk about some of the, maybe a story or two that you're most proud of, that you had a kid that just now is like flourishing, doing something, and I'm sure there's many.
Yeah, there is.
But, and listen, and I've seen it, and it is just, it's a moving thing to really watch. Yeah. But maybe give us one that kind of let people know that this is really what it's about.
So I would think, Michelle, would be Danny Colon.
Yeah, Danny's a big one.
Yeah,
Danny's a huge one.
Yeah, so Danny Colon, Spanish kid who grew up actually not that far from us on the same block where we actually live at. Kid whose family, who I guess he was the first kid in his family to actually graduate from college.
Or from high school.
Yeah.
Danny's story is really interesting because I remember Danny happened to be on an internship with Stella's daughter, the caller who just called. They were in Atlanta with, they were interning with, I believe, was the Truck Series at the time.
It was the Truck Series.
It was the Truck Series at the Craftsman Truck Series at the time. And I got a phone call from Danny's mom, and she just told me, she said, hey, I'm leaving. He was a senior in high school. She said, I'm leaving, and I don't really have room for Danny, so I don't know what he's going to do. And I'm like, huh? Like, what? I didn't understand what she was saying. And she said, no, like, I'm moving. I don't have room for Danny. I said, but what does that even mean? You don't have room for him. And she's like, well, I'm leaving, and he can't come with me. And she said, I'm about to call him and tell him that. I said, wait. First of all, he suffers from anxiety. He's in Atlanta, and you're going to call him with this news. And so she was just like, yeah. So we got together with Joe Gibbs, JD Gibbs, and decided that we got him an apartment. And then they said, as long as he stays in school and he finishes high school, we can bring him down to Charlotte. So he went down and worked for Joe Gibbs Racing for a while. Right, he graduated college. He graduated from Chester, right up here. He came back. He went to school, graduated from Chester. He's now an executive at NBC in Los Angeles.
That's amazing.
Wow.
And it's all because you took a and he flourished by having that opportunity.
And it's funny, Kay mentioned networking earlier, and what happened was he was able to build relationships over the years by being a part of the racing school, which then enabled him to ultimately have his career at NBC. But he worked for Joe Gibbs. He became very friendly with Joe Gibbs, the Gibbs family. And that was major for him to be able to do what he's doing. And he worked for NASCAR before he worked for NBC. So he's actually gradually going up the ladder, for sure. Wow. So that's, to me, out of all of the stories that we actually have, his story is the most powerful, because I think he felt when he was in high school that he wasn't sure if he was going to be able to make it or not. And now, look at him today.
And I want to thank Anthony and Michele of Urban Youth Racing School for joining us. More importantly, I want to thank you guys for all that you do.
Absolutely.
You inspire me, and we look forward to taking this and taking you to the next level. By the way, we are going to have them back, besides to help them raise funds. Just a little teaser before we go. Now that we're opening up, we want to have a little fun as well with some stars of NASCAR and also some graduates. So stay tuned for an event in August. I'm just going to hint that it's going to involve driving NASCAR Grand Prix Fishtown. So you're going to want to be there to see it. It's going to be monumental, and it's going to be really a great highlight for all that you do at Urban Youth. Thank you for joining us today. Okay, any last parting words for Sonny and Cher here?
So I just want to echo what Marc said. Thank you for everything that you guys do. And I do have one final question that I like to ask all of our guests that come through.
You have 30 seconds.
Where is your favorite place to go in Fishtown?
I would say, now that we're opening up and I haven't been, but does Rivers still have frogs?
Yes, they do.
Yes.
That's my favorite.
Well, I know Rivers is my favorite.
All right.
you know for sure.
The restaurant. I'm not a gambler.
And Rivers is also going to be part of that special announcement. So that was a good segue by you guys. As always, okay, I think this one literally goes into the Hall of Fame, goes into the vault. For everybody that was listening today, you get to hear the same episode again, not just on our podcast on WWDB at the Fishtown District, but also replayed at 6 p.m. tonight. Thanks, everybody, for joining us. Thank you, Kay. Thank you, Anthony. Thank you, Michele. To my son, Jared, get back to school. See you next week.